All right, everybody who's watching here, thank you who's tuned in so far. This is the first time I've tried this. Actually, I used to do written interviews for Deaf Sparrow a while ago, but people just don't read as much anymore. We got Steve in there saying hello. I'm not sharing the screen, so I don't think you guys can see it, but he's in the comments there. So now it's like nobody reads anymore. It's like if anything's beyond like 200 words, they're like, ugh. So I just stopped doing like written reviews. It's just so we'll see how this goes. It looks pretty good so
Yeah,
far.
sure.
So, at any rate, everybody who's checking in here, this is one of my favorite bands. I'm not saying that just because you get to do this. Like, I've followed you guys for a while now, almost since your inception. Alkerdeel from um, shit,
Belgium.
Belgium. Yeah, I was like, wait, I almost said Netherlands. I don't know why.
It's close
From
by, so
Yeah, it's close. It's
Yeah.
I mean, Flanders, right, was kind of like sort of both. At any rate, so I followed these guys for a while. They've been around since 2005 now. Actually, is it a little earlier than that, or is that when you guys really first started to play as Alkerdeel?
The band started with the name Alkerdeel in 2007, but three-fourths of us have been playing since 2005.
Ah, okay, okay. But the band itself was never like even without the name, you guys weren't playing as what would
Yeah,
become Alkerdeel until
it
2007.
had a name, but it's the same foundation. It just
Ah,
changed names after becoming a little more serious.
a little more serious.
Little more.
All right, so let's start with that name because I looked it up. I was like, I don't know why I've never looked up the name Alkerdeel. Anytime I've listened to you guys since I didn't listen to your early stuff until later, but I should let me find the album itself. Actually, I'll go to your Bandcamp page here so we can at least see the images of the albums and stuff easily. Let me go find it here. Where's your music here? One second. Oh, it looks like it's actually already showing my screen so far. Oh, that's cool. Okay, that's good. All right, I am not even going to try to pronounce. How do you say this? Die Spinzelvinge?
Yeah,
oh yeah,
that's close by.
Oh, I got
close
it.
enough, close enough.
Yeah, it sounds Italian when you're saying it.
Shit. Dang it. Sorry, guys. All right. Well, how is it? How is it properly pronounced?
The Speensalvingen.
Okay. All right. So this was actually my first introduction, you guys. Whenever I was just a writer for Death Sparrow at the time because this came out now in 2010. Yeah. So I was still just a writer then. The original owner is now the owner of Caligari Records. But he sent this to me, and I was like, I knew it was gonna be something nuts because I was like, all right, these guys are referred to as like kind of black metal online, but like they got a dissected frog on the cover here, and this probably is going to be something way different than the usual. So I never actually looked up your name though. So I've listened to you since at least 2010, as far as I remember, but. So it's over 10 years now, but I never looked up your name till the other day when I decided to do this interview. So explain where the hell it came from, what it actually means. Because from what I found, it means like shit car, apparently, or something like that.
Yeah,
Something like that. Yeah,
yeah.
So what is it like? What is it like a word that like actually refers to something, or do you just like make it up?
No, it's an old dialect word, a Dutch Flemish word.
Ah, okay,
Um,
Flemish. Okay.
it's used by our grandparents or elderly people. And when you, in Dutch, you can divide it and then you can recognize two parts, which is manure and tank. But
Ah, okay.
in dialect and all old words. And if you put them together, you have Alkerdeel. And many people of our age will not understand it, but sometimes we talk about it to family, and it are mostly the older people. Oh yeah, I recognize it. I know the word, but I forgot. And we have always been doing it, like using old sentences or dialect words. So it
Yeah,
was there from the beginning. But I don't know the exact English translation for it. Maybe
yeah. I have
Steve
no.
Stephen is far better in English than me. So
no,
what
well,
did you think?
Well, I don't know. I think it's something to distribute the manure over the fields. You know, I don't know
Oh
if we have
yeah,
a
I don't
name.
know if we have something. I'm sure
Yeah,
there's something. There's probably some
yeah,
like
Yeah,
specific thing there that like farmers use or
yeah.
something. But
yeah,
okay, so it's like specifically, it's like so it's not for gathering like sewage. It's for like spreading manure. Like
It's
for
for
spreading.
spreading.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's for spreading.
it has to
And then
be on
that's it.
the cover of the demo tape.
what's that?
When you take a look at the Bandcamp, I think our demo tape is on it, and then you can see one.
Yeah,
Uh,
the demo
Oh, it's
tape
on the
has a
demo tape.
picture.
Oh, let's
Yeah,
see,
it's
let's
yeah,
on
see,
the
let's
demo
see.
the
tape.
cover.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's some kind of a joke, you can say. It's like
Ah, I see it. There it is.
pulling your
There's
leg
the
in.
real
Yeah, yeah,
Alkerdeel, man.
yeah.
There's
That's the real one.
there's a. I like it's good.
but, that's
But
one.
that's the beauty. That's the beauty of Flemish. You know, we have a very small region, and there are a lot, but really a lot of dialects,
Yeah,
and you can go from one part to the other, and they don't understand each other when they talk to each other in their own dialect. That's the ridiculousness of Flanders. You know, we're
yeah,
like this big, but we have like 1,000 different dialects.
Oh wow,
yeah.
that's crazy. Well, since you guys mentioned the whole Flanders thing, I was actually an art history major. It was one of my majors when I was younger, undergrad. Very useful degree, but I was always really interested in Flemish artists, especially like Renaissance period and stuff. And everyone always usually thinks of Bosch when they think of, Flemish artists. But like lots of the artists in that region did similar things. And the reason I mention this is because like there's a certain style to your music that reminded me of those artists, which is one of the reasons I liked you guys so much. Like, Bruegel the Elder, if I'm pronouncing his name right.
Mhm.
He's known for some of his peasant paintings, but if you look at like his really like crazy stuff, I should pull some up here real quick. It just reminds me of like your sound. I don't know how really. He did some really crazy stuff. What's that one he did with the witch? Let me just see if I can find it real quick. I forget what it's called. He did a number of really interesting ones. He did the one with Triumph of Death is a cool one with all the skeletons and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, so like there's something about your sound that reminds me of like of this art style. And everyone thinks of Bosch when they think of stuff like this, but when you look at it, it's actually pretty typical to like lots of the Flemish artists. So like what I'm going from here is like, is there something like in like the Flemish identity that like leads to like your sound, or like is there something implicit in like who you are as like being from that region that like plays a role in your music? Because it's very unusual. I mean, you guys have always been really hard to place for me or for any critics I see trying to figure it out. Like, people will chuck out the typical tags like, the black metal or sludge black metal or something like that. But really, like, especially this latest one, which is a lot more aggressive than like the two previous ones. I mean, I don't even know what to say. It's like the tag should just be Alkerdeel. I mean, but there's like, I was just curious, like, do you think there's something like implicit in like the Flemish tradition that really like plays a role in the way you guys make your music and your art and stuff? Like if I go back to like your last album, my wife would not let me get the shirt for this. I really wanted to. Um, I mean, I think it's a hilarious shirt, and I don't have many orange shirts, so I was like, yeah, I would love to have this on the. So what does Lede even mean? Did I pronounce that correctly? Lede?
that's even worse than the band name.
It's even worse. Yeah.
It's.
Uh, it,
Could
it
you?
can be it can be multiple things, Leden. It
Uh huh.
can be like a small town in Belgium.
Mm-hmm.
It can
Oh,
be
that sounds.
also close sounding to a word that equals suffering, but
Oh,
it's actually the wet part of an old lady.
wait, the what? Say that again.
The wet fart of an old lady. That's again one of the words, of the old words.
See, this is what I'm talking
Well,
about. Like, there's like,
we have plenty of them, man. We have
Yeah,
plenty of them.
we
the
have a
wet.
list in the rehearsal space, like a paper and a marker, like, we have a new one. To remember one. I heard the new one and
Oh
write
my
it
god.
down.
So now it's
Yeah,
specifically the fart of a wet fart of
yeah.
A wet
specifically a wet
fart,
fart of only an old lady.
Yeah.
old ladies, yes.
It's just such a very specific thing. But I like too how it can also mean a small town or
Yeah,
suffering. Like how did that all get? That
That's
is
the difference between all the different dialects, all
that's
the
amazing.
different meanings, and the
yeah,
different. That's very interesting. Etymology, etymology. etymological. Yeah, some.
etymological, yeah.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's very interesting in the whole concept of all the albums. It's
Yeah.
really, yeah, I think it's very interesting.
Yes, this is what I'm talking about. Like, you guys just have this certain like when I see an Alkerdeel album coming in for review, I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be something that I can't even really explain. Like, I'm gonna like pathetically attempt to review this. This is the first one I got here. How do you pronounce this again? Die Spenzovinge?
Yeah.
Spenzovinge?
Spain's over.
What's that mean?
Um, it's like,
Because we got this frog on the cover here, right? This dissected
yeah,
frog.
but it has nothing to do with the frog. We mostly have like titles that are
Mm,
not related,
yeah.
especially to the cover. But again, maybe Steven can translate it better than me. It's like the
It's the
the
ointment. It's the ointment you use for the udders of the cow when you milk it. It's something like that. It's like the ointment you use to yeah, just to repair the udders of the animal you milked. Yeah, it's pretty
I
silly.
love that. Like it's not just that. Like it's so unique, you know. Like I mean, typically you get black metal coming in there. They got the corpse
Yeah,
paint on or something. You're like,
yeah,
oh, here
yeah,
we go. It's
yeah,
gonna be a
yeah,
song about castles, and they're gonna spell
yeah.
vampires, wampire, or something like that. But like I was like, it's like I can't gauge you guys at all. I don't know what in the hell I'm gonna listen to when I get it, and this is even better because like I never knew any of this, and like this is thousands of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
the reason why we're doing it is like it's a bit an homage, a homage. Is that
Yeah,
a good
Pretty
word?
I don't
much.
remember
Yeah,
how to pronounce that word. Homage, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
it's
Homage. Yeah.
homage to the music we listen to, like lots of Scandinavian bands, and the
Mm,
Scandinavian or the Norwegian language is sometimes because it has the same root, similar to ours. Like, but if we would use like you have titles like from Didhamsgard, what means like guardian of the realm of the dead,
hmm
and they have titles like I stabbed God in the heart or something.
hmm
If we would do it in Dutch, I think it would sound really silly. The way it sounds nice in Norwegian, it's mostly because of the sound, because
mm,
we don't understand it.
hmm
If we do exactly the same in Dutch, man, it would really sound stupid. But because our language has the same root, it's funny to use dialect words that people would um, make an interpretation like it has also a very maybe obscure evil
Yeah.
meaning.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
one part, it's very interesting for us to do. It's a bit of a joke, but not joking like we're not sincere. It's a mix of everything, like part homage, part a bit of a joke, part our thing to confuse people. And that's also a bit of an answer from your question before, like with the devil that farts in your direction.
Yeah.
It's like what we do, we confuse people like with or concept or music or artwork. That's a big part of the band, like confusing, make people confused.
No, you definitely did that. Like again,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I forget. I think it was your PR guy who sent me this email. He's like, "You want to hear the new Alkerdeel?" I'm like, "Yeah." And as soon as I got it, I was like, "All right, what am I? What in the world am I going to begin for here with this?" But oh yes, and I was asking too. So do you think there's something implicit in this sort of like the Flemish like identity that like leads you to these sort of things, or were you guys just trying to sort of like play your own game with the way that you approached especially your themes? We'll get to the music in a bit, but like your look and themes. Like, do you feel like there's something like in like the Flemish national identity that?
do we have an identity, Steve?
It's a pretty bizarre one if we have one. So
Yeah, we have
That's why.
always
That's
been
why. That's why I
single.
mentioned Bruegel the Elder. I'm telling you, like this. I was just curious. I like anytime I got an album, I was like, that reminds
yeah,
me of the
I don't
corny.
know what is identity. It's like
Yeah.
I don't. I think it's more. It's not really the identity. It's really trying to create something that comes from within us, but that has not really something to do with identity. That has something to do with the creativity that you put into the music. More that than identity. But it's true that some of the music coming from our region, from the Flemish region like Lugubrum and stuff like that, it has a certain sensibility.
Mm.
It has something a bit different, and we embrace that aspect of it, being a bit different
Yeah.
in a certain genre.
That's cool. Well, let's. And I'm going to see what happens here. I think what might happen. I think Facebook will do this sometimes. If you play too much audio, they may just silence that part. Because I just remember when I did this once for a game I streamed and played an album over it. Anytime the album was going, they would silence that part. So I don't know what they'll do here. What might have to happen is I get permission then from like the labels that it's okay. I play a couple seconds, here and there. Um, so let's just go with this one first. This really was my first exposure to was this album here. And then I checked out the other stuff, later. But another thing I always notice about you guys is the timing on your freaking songs. Like, you go to a black metal album, it's like, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then like you guys are like, we got 3 songs, and one's 15 minutes, and the last one's almost 30 minutes, and it's just like, even that is like, wow, these guys are like next level. Like, it's just like messing with so many like expectations.
Yeah, it's not intended. The songs, we do not intend for a song to be long or short.
Mm.
We make a song, and it's as long as we feel like it has to be.
Oh, I like that. You're
If
just
it's
like,
a song of 15 minutes, it's a song of 15 minutes. It's a song of 2 minutes, it's a song of 2 minutes. It's
that's cool.
just at the moment, what do you feel? Does the song need more? Does the song need less? That's also one of the reasons I think that it takes us quite a bit of time to write stuff. Just we want to make sure we don't have too much or too less.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, because if you look at the first one I heard, that was 2010, and then Lede, that was 2016, and then this one here, Slonk. Did I pronounce that correctly? Is Slonk? Slonk?
Slunk.
Yeah.
Slonk.
Slunk.
That was just this year. So yeah, you got like a nice like more I say yeah more quality than quantity, right? That's that sort of a approach there.
Yeah, if
But
you want to call it that, yeah.
yeah, I guess I don't know. I'm
That's
trying to sound
that's a
smart. I don't know.
compliment. That's a
It
compliment.
has also
We're not the most
something-
prolific band. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also something to do with the fact I think we started out as a jam band like in 2005,
Oh.
and it was mostly improvisation. So we did our rehearsals were like just jamming around, and our first gig was also one big jam, parts stuff that was fixed or we did before, but it was partly improvised, and maybe that's still a little bit of how do you call it? Not a heritage, or it's derived from that period. And also we grew up with bands like Old My Dying Bride.
Yeah.
And these
Okay. Yeah.
guys also had songs of 12 minutes, and I also we always enjoyed that. So it's also a part of it why we have long songs.
Yeah.
It feels good, but also we grew up with music that has long
Yeah. I
songs.
get it. Yeah. Plus, with more space, you can really develop more of an idea
Yeah.
sometimes and stuff. But let's sample real quick some of this too. And since I'm watching it live on my phone, we'll see if Facebook does anything here. Oh boy, let's see. Which one should I choose here? And I'm also not sure exactly how loud I should have the sound. I should have to bring this. Let's just see what happens. Hey, does that sound overly loud? Like, is it blowing out your ears there?
I can't
Nothing's
hear a thing.
so far.
No, it's
Oh.
nothing coming through.
But it's because of the delay, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's
there it
let's
is,
let's
there it
make sure because I may just have to do the share screen there then. But let's see. Yeah, I think I'll have to do the share screen feature. I'll do that right now. I can share the sound too, and then I'll put our things over here. Yeah, I'll go over here like this. Okay, let's see what happens here now. See if it's too loud for people. So you guys can hear that now, right? Should be.
Yeah.
Okay. So does that sound decent audio level?
Yeah, that's decent.
Okay. I mean, that there almost starts off as like ambient black metal and like I can pick up like the riffs you're doing there because I'm used to hearing lots of this stuff. Let me get a little further ahead here. Yeah, so it's like you guys have this certain it's like I can't even place it. Now let's go from that to the other one here.
I can actually reveal something about that part, and
Oh, okay.
Stephen won't be aware of it. Because back then when it was created, he was only he only joined the band maybe 1 year later. I don't know.
After the demo, I heard
Yeah,
the demo and I asked if you needed a bass player.
yeah.
So
But when we were composing it, it's based or it's influenced on a couple of bands. Like when you hear the crash, because it's a long time since I heard that track.
Mhm.
But the crash is based on the opening song of Under the Sign of Hell of Gorgoroth.
Oh, wow.
So raw
Okay.
and heavy, and we were playing it, and we thought it should be rawer, it should be more raw, and then play it like the opening track of Under the Sign of Hell, and that was like one of the first things we said, always as raw as possible. And that was a little bit of a, not a blueprint, but that track really influenced us at the time.
Oh, okay.
The
Okay.
reason why it has this repetition of the riff for a long time since it starts
Yes.
has to do with Shellac, the band of Steve Albini, because he
Oh,
tends to
okay.
overplay his riffs again and again, and when you think the drum will start, it doesn't start.
Mm.
He repeats the riff a couple of times,
Oh,
and
that's
that was
really.
also an influence on that. Like why we waited so long before really taking off. It was a time I was in high school or just after high school, and I had friends who were like into this left field music, and they introduced me to shellac. And I remember listening to it, and when we were playing, it was in the back of my head, like to not make obvious music. And we were playing, and like, oh no, wait, still continue, and only after a big part taking off. So that's the story behind that first part.
That's cool. Wow. And oh, someone has asked a question here. So, Guy here is asking, what is it? What is the translation of this album title again?
Treatment of utters of
yeah, it's the ointment you put on the udders of a cow after milking it.
There you go, Guy. That's what that means.
Yeah, especially this song for me, I heard this in a demo form, and the first time I heard it, because I've been a long time
yeah.
friends with the guys, for me it was clear there was something there, and that's why I asked them, do you do you need a bass player? So I would really like to be a part of this band. I
Mm.
think there's something there. The atmosphere, the way they constructed the song, and it spoke to me at that moment. So I'm
Yeah.
very happy they said yes. So
Yeah, now that you're going to explain like the thought process behind it, like I can hear it, like yeah, especially like how you said you guys kind of start off as like a jam band type thing. Like I can get that sense of like like building until like everyone sort of comes together into like a, you know, like sort of coalesces into a moment. That's really wow. Now that it's even like we just listened to like a couple seconds there. So yeah, as far as I'm seeing here, where our sound and everything is fine. Um, so I'm just I'm gonna go with these three albums because these are like the biggest ones I've heard. I mean, you got lots of other stuff in the middle here, but all right. So Leda, the shirt my wife would not let me buy because of the farting demon on there right in your face, um, which you just revealed to me. Okay, so in case Guy wants to know, what does this one mean? This is the one which I won't forget. This means specifically, well, it could mean this, but it could mean the wet fart of an old lady. But also, what was it? Small town and also suffering is kind of all encapsulated to this one word. All right, so now in constructing this one, like what was your again? You have this sort of here at least. You for this one, you have this sort of same thing with this three-track separation here. Is there a reason you guys did that, or is it just kind of how you naturally put together both of these albums by chance with three tracks for each of them? And this one here, even the title track is much shorter than the other ones in comparison to, the cow udder ointment album, where they're all longer. Is that something natural to the process, or is it just sort of just part of how you built the songs? And whenever you felt like if that's where this one should end, you just left it at that. And then, like any reason for three tracks in particular, or I don't know if that's too vague.
I think it was actually one long track when we rehearsed it and
Oh, okay.
recorded it. It was meant like one long track, but as there's this middle part in it, we thought like for to publish it on Spotify and whatever, we
Mm,
could divide it and that's why it's called 1, 2, 3.
Ah, I
It's
see.
composed
Yeah.
as one piece, but we play it often separately, or turn it around, so it shouldn't be played in that order. But it was originally composed like a long song, and only afterwards, since playing it live and releasing it on an album, we thought, oh, maybe we can just take part 3 to start the gig and end with part 1 or whatever. So it got its own life.
So you're
After.
talking specifically about track number one only, or do you
Yeah.
mean all
Yeah.
three separate tracks?
No.
No.
Track 1.
Oh, just
Track
track
1.
one. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I meant like all three tracks. 'Cause I noticed in the
Yeah.
last album you had three tracks as well total. But so this one
Uh,
technically would. So the other two tracks, so they were added later. Then I see. Okay,
yeah, but I don't
Technically,
know.
there are 5 songs there, so
I saw
Yeah,
essentially five songs. I get it.
yeah,
Okay.
essentially five
All right.
songs.
So
I don't.
translate these. I'm curious. What is this?
I don't know how they were composed. Like I think we worked first on 2 on Lede,
Hmm.
and maybe afterwards
Oh.
on Retardé, and 3 Gratulenov was like the last, if I'm right.
Oh. Okay. I see. So the title
So
track first, but you put it second, kind
yeah,
of as an
yeah.
intermission on the.
So the order of the songs is not similar to the timeline when we composed them.
I see. All right. Translate these titles. I should have did that the other one too, but I'm curious now. You know, since you got wet farts of old ladies, cow udder ointment. What are these? What are these checks saying here before I play one?
The
Regardez
third
ses
one,
yeux, that's French.
yeah,
So
that's
that's
French.
translated. It's like look at their eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Look
Look
at
at
their
their eyes.
eyes.
All right. Okay.
And there's this sample in the middle of the song coming from a French movie. I forgot, maybe it's below it. Is it in the
Let's
description? I
see.
don't
Let's
know.
see here.
No, it's not there. Do you remember
Yeah,
the movie?
it's a very good movie.
The Martyrs, Les
Yeah,
Martyrs.
Les Martyrs,
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And
Martyrs.
it, but also when you take a closer look on the artwork, like the cartoon, not this one, not the cover, but the cartoon in the middle.
Oh,
Yeah.
this. Mm-hmm.
There's also something with the eyes, like in the middle, the right frame, you can
Yes.
see the eye is white. So it's also related to that.
Oh,
Like
okay. Oh, I
look
like
at
that.
their eyes. So although sometimes we do like stuff that seems not to be related, we try to relate it, but
Mm.
it's not often obvious.
Yeah, I see that. Now, is this stuff here taken from like Flemish folklore or something like that? These creatures and things here.
No, that's my own imagination.
Oh, cool.
We
Okay.
play on. It has the atmosphere, for example, of the in French, Les Fables de La Fontaine. I don't know how to translate in English. Fables of
Yeah, Fables of La
Fontaine.
Fontaine. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
but also work of 19th century romantic artists is in there. But some of the topics inside the cartoon is
Hmm.
also related, for example, to the clip of the collaboration with Now Their Tongues.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, in case anyone didn't
And
notice that, it's right here. It's mentioned that yeah, that
yeah,
Maurice
and
worked with you.
in the end of the clip, you can see like a drug addict who and or in the clip you can see like the needle of someone putting heroin in the veins, but also mosquito larvae and
Yeah, I see
mosquito
that.
in the
Okay.
clip. So it returns in that comic, like the mosquito who is sucking blood, and it's like everything
it's
is
interconnected.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, it's really
interconnected.
yeah. Wow, there's a lot of thought in
Interconnected.
this. Not that I didn't
It's
think there was thought in it.
it can take a while to explain everything, and I'm not going to do it. But sometimes I can drop like a small,
Tidbit.
yeah,
Yeah,
like this, like the eyes, like the clip.
that's
Um,
cool.
so we don't do it randomly. There's often a process behind it or an idea behind it.
Yeah, I like that. I just got a notification, by the way. I didn't know this was going to come up that we have apparently 10 minutes until Zoom shuts me down because I don't have
Oh
a
yeah.
pro account. But let's listen to this real quick here. I mean, we got a lot of good stuff you guys said today, but let's see. I'll go with the first one there. And this is Gnaw Their Tongues helped you with this part, right? Yeah.
I think it takes a while. So
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. It's you guys. Only this.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many different things you're doing there. Like the guitar work is so dissonant. I love how the bass is kind of like this weird like pulse in the background. You know, it's like kind of like off kilter, and then the screams are just like they're not like typical like black metal screams. You know, it sounds like Popeye vocals or something like. It just sounds like anguished. There's just so much going on in there. It's really good stuff. It reminds me, I need to buy the vinyl of this. Forgot to do that.
It's sold out. So
No, I bet there's probably some guy that has it on Discogs for like $100. Oh, dang it, you guys! You guys have extra copies, I can buy them. All right, well, let's make sure we cover.
Yes, but I'm no.
Let's make sure we cover Slonk before Zoom does something here. So okay, so this is Alkerdeel's latest here. Okay, so all right, the title there, Slonk. I want to hear from you guys what this means because I think I looked it up and I got some meaning of it, but what is it said? I'm going to assume multiple meanings for this word too.
no, it only has one meaning.
Oh, okay.
Can you explain?
It's a bit difficult to explain.
I found slink like kind of like like some like creature sort of moving around in the forest, kind of something like that.
Yeah, the meaning here is more like
It's
say
like,
you worked all day outside, you're dirty, you have dirty
Oh, you're
shoes,
kind of
dirty
oh,
clothes,
okay.
and you come into the house and your wife cleaned up all the shit in the house and you just come in and do not regard her work and just do your thing, grab a
Oh,
beer,
oh wow. This
hunt
is more.
yourself down. It's like just fuck it, it's like I'm here, just deal with it.
yeah, it's like harming without the intention to hurt someone. It's
Yeah,
like carelessly or something.
yeah,
Oh
uncareless.
wow.
Yeah.
Unconsciously.
Wow, extremely deep. I was like that explanation. Okay, so now does that have any relation here to the rabbit image?
No, it's actually it was a working title of the first song, and as I
Okay.
said before, we have a list on the wall with all words. So when we're working on a song, it can be called like the last song. The working title was the Ancient Song, like the band, because it had a riff that reminds us to ancient. Afterwards, it got another title, and the first song was called Slonk as a working title.
Okay.
But then afterwards, when I started to think about the concept behind the artwork, and the artwork is based on the Enochian key, all tracks got a new name, like because one of the foundations of the Enochian key are chemical elements, earthly elements, which are water, fire, air, and water, fire, wind, air, and earth.
Earth.
So all the tracks got dialect versions, again with multiple meanings of these words. And the title for it was also related to the Enochian key. But then came Band Democracian and they said, no, it's too highbrow, too arty-farty. Let's keep the word slunk because we like it and we don't want to throw it away. So it was okay.
I like it. Yeah, it definitely fits with this sort of the feeling of your previous ones. Let's listen to we got like 4 minutes left here. That's decent. We'll listen to just a bit and then maybe just see if we want to open it to any more questions here. We still got a lot of people watching.
Yep.
But let's hear it. Okay, what is this? What does this title mean here? Zop.
Zop is like, I don't know the word in English, but it's like a mix of water and dirt, but
Mud.
more water, like
More water
something
than
muddy.
mud, yeah.
One more.
Muddy
So
water. Muddy
it's
water.
like really sludgy mud, kind of.
Yeah.
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 But
Sludgy
it can
mud.
also be like we have an expression for drinking a lot, like becoming drunk,
Mm-hmm.
and it's called hanging out in the sludge or in the mud.
Okay. Oh,
I
cool.
try to translate. So it can be also that. So there's again lots of meanings for it.
Yeah, I like
And
that.
for the if you take a look at the artwork related to that track, you can see like a river, like some with a willow tree,
Mm.
so and the water, and the lyrics are actually about you know, when my grandfather killed rabbits, he put it in like on a koord. Steven, hoe zeg je koord?
Yeah,
String.
chord. Yeah, chord string. Yeah, yeah, sorry.
On a
Yeah.
string to let the blood drip.
Mm-hmm.
So they peel off the
Oh,
skin and let the blood drip.
yes.
And the lyrics are not about the blood dripping, but it's about specifically like the blood that starts from the eye, from the nose, and the moment it falls and touches the ground. That's the lyric. And
Oh,
mingle,
oh, that's
the
cool.
blood that mingles with the soil
Yeah.
and what happens with it and what happens below it. That's in short what it's about.
Oh,
And
cool.
that's Zop.
Wow. So talking to you guys, this really opens up some more things with this music. All right, let's listen to some of it briefly here. And by the way, people that are watching, if you have any questions for these guys, because Zoom's telling me I only have like 3 minutes left before it's going to turn off, since I'm not. I didn't even know there was a pro version until it said you have to pay. But so if anyone has any questions, feel free to type them in the chat there. But let's listen to some Zulp first here. All right, so we got the intro there.
Good stuff.
Yes, those of you who heard the other ones, obviously this is a lot more aggressive than some of the previous stuff you guys have done. Like it's a little. I guess I don't know how I want to say this. Maybe it's like the riffs are more discernibly like moshy, if you will. Whereas like the other two were like a little more like way more atmospheric and like there's like a build there. But especially this song, like when that sort of like weird call comes out, you just sort of like jump right into it. Yeah, so it's a great. Instead of the typical, it's just sort of like this like hoot almost. Interesting. So now, in the creation of Slonk, did you have any different direction how you were putting this together whenever you started it, or?
We first of all we thought we were going to make a mid-tempo album. We said, okay, we're gonna make an album that's completely mid-tempo, nothing too fast, and yeah, well, you see, we ended up with a pretty aggressive, a pretty in-your-face album. So I'm pretty pleased with the end result. So
Yeah, it's awesome. Now we only have a minute left here. I don't see any questions come up, so I'm gonna make sure we do an ender here. But that hadn't been longer than I figured anyway. So yeah, if anyone has any questions for these guys, put it in the chat there. They'll probably see it. But thanks a lot for taking the time to do this. Because what time is it over there for you currently? So here we're 10
4 in the
a.m.
afternoon.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's not
4
too
in the
bad.
afternoon.
All right, yeah. You probably just hang out anyway. So I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for taking the
Thank you.
time to talk to me here and see
Thank
if you
you,
can
man.
find me, that album. I can buy it off you. All right. So yeah, after we're done here, the video will be active, and then probably within a few minutes or so, and then you should be able to share that too and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
so thanks
Cool.
again to Alkerdeel here, and
Thanks,
hopefully we'll
man.
see some more stuff for them in the future. Looking forward to it. Great
Me
talking to you
too.
guys. Thanks a lot. See you.